Sir Sat Sri Akal and welcome back, and I'm going to let Felix start the show. Felix, welcome to our viewers.
Welcome back, and pleased to have you with us. Hopefully you were delivering some real value to you as we move through the discussion about cupping and acupuncture with Manjeet. Manjeet, tell us more about the benefits of cupping. What would I expect if I come in and have a cupping session? What are the key benefits that I'm going to experience?
Well, surely you'll be coming to me for some reason, first of all. The reasons, it could be that you have pain in your knees, you have pain in your shoulders, neck pain, migraines, joint pains, rheumatoid arthritis, asthma, bronchitis, lower back pain, cough pain, kidney problems, GI tract digestion problems, muscle cramps, and tightened back muscles. It's an endless list, and all these things will be a reason and a cause. But to find the right point to do the cupping and to shift that blocked chi energy, the QI energy, and to let that blood flow, stagnating by putting pressure with the acupuncturing, you're puncturing inwards. With the cupping, you are outwards.
Yeah.
So that is the pressure, which is the negative pressure, which is used in that suction, to draw out the negativity. And by providing that, you can loosen up muscles, encourage blood flow, which is a big thing. Like we've spoken about the river,
yes.
Blocked liver will become smelly. And Felix agreed with me that he's going to sit in front of a river where he's going to hear the water and the ripples instead of a river that's stagnated. I've just put a little example that put blocks of stones in that river. It's not going to be a river with good energy. The same with the body. Obviously, it sedates the nervous system, excellent treatment for blood pressure as well. Relieves headaches, backaches, neck aches, anxiety, fatigue. So it's really knowing your gadgets. And migraines, obviously migraines, then I would also look at food. Felix, I'm not just going to say, okay, here's my treatment, I'll do it for you. Even to have done the tri-light treatment of patients for acne, for rosacea, for teenage acne, for inflammation for this patient, for scrotum warts, pictures that he did not want to see, but I've had people with warts on their bodies. Tri-light has worked. It is knowing how to use your gadget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing the appropriate one and doing it in a really good way.
And in a hearty and in a very, in a way that that you're going to pass energy. If I'm in a bad mood and I treat my patient, I've not helped my patient because I've actually transpired my energy to that person. So it makes a huge amount of difference.
I wanted to go, actually, we'll circle back to bioenergetic medicine, which is a great concept to get into. But just before we go there, I understood with cupping there were 3 different forms. You have dry, wet, and
fire.
Fire. Okay.
Where you'd actually use the mock-combustion smoke and then use the inverse pressure and let that shift energy. Even with the mock-combustion is like a massive cigar. So that's the moxa treatment I would do. Yeah, the room doesn't smell pleasant. I have to open the window because it's got the Chinese herb, and but definitely it is nothing to do with weed smoking. It doesn't smell anything like that. But definitely, I would probably after a couple of moxas need a shower and just freshen my clothes up because it does get on you. But the moment it heats up that needle with the moxa, the patient will say, oh, I just feel so good. There's something that's just rushed, and they feel that. And those are people who are in connection with their body. Those who are just sitting there like a lump, just expecting the therapist to do, but you're not connecting with your body, will not shift. So this cupping is inverse pressure, and it's like doing an inverse massage. And rather than applying pressure to the muscles, the suction uses pressure to pull the skin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the tissue, the muscle, and it's an upwards movement. Up and out. Yeah,
it's good.
So enhancing with the bioenergetic energy. With your question is NAS. If you ever we catch up again, I'll bring you a book for your bedtime story, which will take you to a journey of bioenergetic medicine. I started that 20 years ago, going to be 20 in July. I was the first one to bring it into UK from Australia, and recognize straight away that it is the way forward to change that stagnated energy through NES after scanning a person, and you get amazing results. Sleep, emotions, fat metabolism. It works for every organ. Specific infoceuticals are given to change that blockage, and then obviously cupping works with it, because bioenergetic medicine is again the energy from one cell to another, one organ to another. It's so complex.
You know what I love about cupping and everything we're covering today is essentially what we're talking about is bringing the body back to balance. In balance, your body heals itself.
Yep.
You know, there's no, you know, if we really look at it, there's no medicine that gives a cure. All that we ever do is help the body revert itself to balance or homeostasis.
Yeah.
In that condition, your body naturally heals itself.
Yeah, it can take a lot of nonsense, but the way Felix said, it will start naturally healing itself.
Exactly.
If you give it that window of recovery.
So
if you surpass the window of recovery, then you can go in for chemotherapy and MRI and scanning and surgery or removal of that amputation, as we said, of the organ. And painkillers, antibiotics, and steroids. These are the standard of NHS.
I mean, it's so interesting because, you know, essentially we're talking here about, you know, chi points, meridian points, and essentially removing obstacles to your body coming back to balance. And if I reflect on the last show where we had that profound, I mean, obviously it's part of your everyday experience, but you would use Tri-Light to get rid of an infection on the ankle that had spread. I mean, the chap was up for amputation. So, and literally 2 months off work and he's back.
He's going to be back.
You know, 1.5 days treatment and 4 days he's walking again.
Without the pus, without the seeping of water. The pus pockets were 9 pockets in one place.
And if I think, you know, like, essentially, you know, how has that happened? You know, essentially what you've done is you've begun to remove the obstacles to the body healing itself. And by returning to balance, you've started what I call the journey of ascendance, the journey towards good health.
Forcing the body to make its collagen, forcing the body to knit, forcing the fibroblast to work, forcing that skin power APT to start working again. It's amazing. And the body, it recognized everything we did. And I went wholeheartedly and I said, I'll get you back to work by March. And sometimes people ask me in the first sitting, and I say, please don't ask me when your eczema is from birth and you're 35. And the first sitting, they've understood everything, and just before they've taken the medicine, by the way, how long will it take? Oh, and then you just drop your shoulders. That it's taken you 2 hours to address the situation and to get this in the mind that this is repeat treatment. Any psoriasis, eczema, those kind of infections or inflammations or lichen planus or any kind of rheumatoid is not one sitting. But people want that magic turnaround. Don't forget, it's taken 20, 30 years to get there, but they haven't heard their body. They haven't listened to what it was saying. And now it's in its dire emergency, and now you want a quick turnaround. May happen to some people if your energy is positive, but let's stay on this positive note.
In all seriousness, look, when I've dealt with people, I have occasionally you'll have an idea, because people are so used to taking Western medicine. They say if they've taken a really high, I mean, I take a particular green supplement. It's similar to taking, you'd have to eat more than 2 kilograms of veg to get what's in one little 10-gram scoop. So really broad, diverse. Everyone who takes it, they immediately notice more energy. And feeling good. And then if you're dealing with someone who's used to taking an aspirin or they take it a week and then say, I'm feeling great now, let me stop, right?
How sad. And your shoulders drop, thinking you've had aspirin all those years and that one product you can stop. So let's go back to the benefits of cupping, because we will lose this second part very quickly. Obviously, it relieves pain but warms the body wherever there is a hot spot but a cold spot. funny what I'm saying. When your body is stagnated, there is a cold spot or a hot spot. The hot spot is that there's too much heat or inflammation under the skin tissue or the muscle or the tendon or the joint or the collagen. And what that does, it warms up the body and shifts things. The next thing it does was it diminishes the inflammation wherever you have inflammation. Skeletal problems, cupping is great. Detoxification, cupping is fab. Detoxifies, and you know, the toxins are released. This is whole demise of a human body, even whether it's cancer, it's toxins. It is, antioxidants are low and your body is now in its disease mode because it's self-poisoning. And that is leading on to mutation of cells, which is abnormal protein, not the good proteins, that leads on to cancers. It reduces pain and softens the muscle tissue. So whenever there's pain, there's hardened tissue because of lactic acid. You and I have heard about it. Not suitable for pregnant people or women, or when the skin is ulcerated. So if you have infection or ulceration, then comes my Trilite. So be careful. If somebody is trying to sell you a product for a reason, you need to be cautious. But you must have seen athletes in Olympics having had cupping and they look quite bruised. And people say, oh, don't know what he's had. Cupping for athletes, runners, swimmers to dilate and get those muscles loosened up. For every 100th millimeter of a second, every second, 100th second makes them a winner. And so much of this has been seen for runners and athletes to have cupping the day before or 2 days prior the therapy, before the race.
I mean, look, we all in elite athletes, it's all about pursuit of marginal gains. It's about putting things in place that give you the extra 1%, because where you make the accumulation of those extra 1% accumulated, that's where you make big strides.
Yeah, I mean, these people will obviously go on high altitude, low altitude, run in all those and get those lungs. How does somebody have asthma with these two balloons cannot even take enough oxygen and remove carbon dioxide? There's serious problems with inflammation within the lungs, or mucus buildup, or allergies of dust or old carpets or food. Food also creates a lot of asthmatic reasons, and also it can be inherited. But serious problems when you have, these organs cannot function the way God has created. When a child is born, they check out for the eyes, the hearing, the hips, the heel test is done. The baby is slapped, just to take in the first breath of oxygen coming out from the fetus. It's amazing. And that itself is the test that the baby can inhale oxygen and cry out. When the baby doesn't cry, it's panic time. Yeah, but that's another topic that we will discuss on infertility, which is one of my favorite, but a very journey that I get emotionally taken in with the parents to be, and we take them through that journey of cleansing. But again, cupping is great for infertility.
Do you know, I hadn't imagined that.
Yeah, cupping is great for infertility. Not for men, more for women. Because for men there would be another situation, another application. Very good. Cupping is great for GI tract and digestion problems. So where it's going to be put in what position, that's important. You could be placing things in your house, they don't look as good. So if you get somebody or a designer to say, I think I like your settee that way, it will, and your window should be that way, an architect, you'll get more light. This is all about cupping as well, getting the placing and the points right. The same with acupuncture.
As ever, professional advice is, absolutely key.
Yeah. But, how does a person first get to that inflammation is, we're not going to be touching much with foods in this topic, because it's so, in itself, there is so much magical changes and shifting of the chi energy, blocked energy of cupping, that we've got so much to say. What else have you got listed for me? Felix is always testing me with his questions.
I think you've covered everything that I'd hoped for. So tell me, how different is cupping to, for example, myofascial or massage or other techniques?
So again, those
is it complementary, or is it
complement, not on the same day? Give it 3 to 4 days for things to shift. So even if you're doing cupping, which means that we are sucking out with the pressure, with others and lymph drainage and the other massages, you're working with the lymphatic system, and wherever I see a blockage, I'll work longer. I'm very selective on my choice of my patients for lymph drainage. Otherwise, I have my masseurs who do that. But a lot of, athletes and even the runner, 100-meter runner, trainers were coming to me because they would say, you don't look very strong, but you are very strong. When I'm actually doing the therapy, the application is important. Where you go and you're going to stop and understand. At that time, there's no communication, there's no talking, total silence. At the end, the patient is told, or wherever they'll twitch a little bit, say, ow, that hurt. Then you know there's a problem, but they have a low threshold of pain. There are lots of other massages where sometimes people come out bruised, everything is done with the right pressure. Our lymphatic system is 10 times more than arteries and veins put together.
Wow.
A human artery and veins go around once around the earth.
Yes.
Our lymph system goes around 10 times. That is the intensity. That is where cupping comes in equation.
Tell me, look, lymph drainage is just such an important topic because it's fundamental to hydration and to movement.
Yes.
But let's just back up one step and say, can you describe the lymph system?
Yeah.
Its purpose and what it is.
Wow, it's a lymph system is vessels that are running from your head to toe. The most complex lymphatic system of a human being is a woman's under the armpits and the breast tissue. That is where the most lymphatic system is congested for the milk ducts. Or for any woman to get breast cancer, the nodes are removed. Now the lymph nodes and the lymphatic system shifts lymphatic fluid, which is carrying a most important fluid, and that is your immune system. That's going to balance your immune system. Anywhere where there's blockage, there'll be pain, there'll be inflammation, there'll be a lymph nodule, there'll be a cyst. Those things will happen to say, boy, there is something wrong with your lymphatic system. Body brushing with draining. When you do body brushing and you come out from a shower after good body brushing, I don't know if you've noticed, but you will find this wonderful movement in your body, and people and women say to me, oh, I don't have time, but they're obese. I want them to lymph drain. I want them to body brush, or getting some rough, scruffy gloves, which are specially for body brushing, and put some good organic body wash, and then scrub this dead skin. And when you come out, you will get that sensation. If you haven't had it, you don't even know what you've done. And it should always be upwards.
Okay.
Never go downwards. But even if you've gone downwards, bring it back up.
Okay.
Lymphatic drainage should always be round, small round motions, scrub. If somebody has got very harsh inflamed skin, go easy. Obviously, that applies for psoriasis or eczema. But again, look at the number at the bottom. We forgot to say that is for help or call. Off-air advice. So any off-air advice, call that number and you will be supported. The time or when that call will be made will vary, obviously according to the time one has. Yeah.
So important. Don't withhold your number. If you call, give the number, and then Manjeet or one of her team will give you a call back. And that really is so important, as with all areas in life. I mean, when I moved to Birmingham, when I got married, it took me 10 years to find the best-in-class people to surround myself with.
Yes.
And, I can't... it just always, I made a beeline, and I think it's really good practice to go and try and get the best people in your team you can.
Yeah.
It's only sensible. So, Manjeet, you have more than 2 decades of experience. I'm
still enjoying it, and I'm still saying, I started with media a long time ago. At that time, there was only media for some stations, 28 days. They were given a license and they had to shut down. And then came in some television company, radio first. I did 16 years in radio.
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah, 16 years in radio. And then came in the first Sikh television. And this whole journey of so much has happened in industry with so many channels opening. And digital world has just changed the whole industry. So many channels you can choose from, but choose them wisely. Choose this information we are resonating with you at 9:40 p.m. is valued information. It's through our passion, our drive, and we hope you can listen, and every word we are saying, it has got great density and volume, and evaluate that. I know some people said I'm not speaking much Punjabi. I want to grab the third and the fourth generation. I'm sure a lot of bibiyaan ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੋਣੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਬੋਲਦੀ, ਮਾਫੀ ਚਾਹਨੀ, because ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਲ host ਹੈਗਾ English ਵਿੱਚ Felix, ਇਹ English ਸਮਝਦਾ ਪਰ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ. So he says ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ really nicely and gracefully. So he's learned that. I think I'll be taking him into some Punjabi classes shortly. So apologies for those who say I'm speaking a lot of Punjabi. For those who think that I'm talking more, is because Felix is here to question me and I'm here to answer his questions. So this is the task as a practitioner in 11 therapies now, and having taken the Tri-Light on board, it's given me emotions. Obviously, when I see people recovering from near kind of no return, and then, you know, if I don't get results, I sit and think, what have I done different and what can I do to change? If I don't get results, either the patient has not taken my instructions, and if they have taken the instructions, they say, oh, Manjit is a bit strict. You know, oh, she's going to stop our tea. That's the first thing that women would say. Oh, she's going to stop your tea. What the hell is wrong with tea? What is so important about tea? I don't know. It's an acid, you know, and I mean, the last show we did on stomach ulcers are a big thing in Asian people, and also for alcoholics, and also for people who are having too many of these doner kebabs, and these processed meats are serious, aren't they? I mean, all the organs of the animals are, you know, congealed together with a bit of fat to create a massive doner kebab.
It's recent. Studies are now showing, you know, eating highly processed foods like bread in the modern supermarket. I mean, old style, properly fermented bread, soda bread.
Yeah.
If you can get
sourdough,
you know, can still be good. But all of the bread you would routinely access in a supermarket, all of the processed meats, they're now, you know, proven to be have unhelpful consequences. Yes,
and cancer for sure. I mean, you know, they are saying that at this point there is one diabetic person bound to be, or in a household, in every household, or their lifestyle is such that they will be triggering off. Felix, I'm getting children, youngsters as young as 40 who have got diabetes, blood pressure, cholesterol. They've had, before 50, they've had a stroke. I mean, this was a story that we are now going, our forefathers 30 years in 80s and 90s showed some symptoms of such kind. There's serious problems with our lifestyle.
One of the best things we can do with everyone we care about is just to get them to monitor. You know, the one fundamental measurement is your waist, your widest part should be less than half your height. And if we can do that, if you find people that you know and care about that are more than twice, or you know, more than half their height around the waist, that is, it's have such a dramatic impact to most disease states.
Felix, more than half of England is obese. More than half of USA are obese or morbidly obese. The most obese girl was taken out with the fire brigade, where they had to make a ramp from Wales. She had left her house for 22 years.
Wow.
And that was a real emergency to get to the hospital. So these things do not happen overnight. You cannot be living like an animal. We have a wonderful brain. We can think, we can see, we can smell, we can talk, we can understand, we can hear, we can read, we can write. This one body is the most magical body compared to any other mammal. The only other one that can resonate to about a human brain is a dolphin, the intelligence, yet it cannot do whatever it can. No robot can be made in the world to match a human intelligence. Yeah, the robots in Japanese restaurant made now is a 1-year waiting list where the robots make your food, serve your food, and take your food away. I would like one of those in my house too.
So much so. Well, listen, folks, we've covered the benefits of cupping, and the benefits, most importantly, of taking good advice with, and you know, because you really want these deployed well. But But fundamental to all of that is if we're returning to balance, if you're releasing toxins, you know, after cupping, I'm sure you're going to say rehydrate, extra hydrations to try and clear things out. Same with a massage, same with myofascial work. When you're releasing any sort of impediments, let's hydrate properly. One
thing, cupping does cause bruising, or mild bruising, or some people will look pretty bruised, but those will dissipate because it's inverse kind of massage. So if it's bruised, that doesn't mean you have had any adverse reaction. It just means that it's been on that point where the skin tissue has been forced to shift.
And it will be temporary anyway.
Oh gosh, yes. This is we knock ourselves through the tables and chairs, but this bruising is on a health point. So let me on this evening thank Felix again for wonderful hosting, taking you to a journey of infertility. So much of this world is unhappy. So many children are aborted. So many children are made through gender choice. I'll take you this evening to a very emotional journey of what I have managed to accomplish with God's grace. Let me say goodbye and good night. Shall we say Sat Sri Akal?
Absolutely. Sat Sri Akal.
Sat Sri Akal.